राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय जगन्नाथ जय बलादेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल नदिया बिहारी गौर हरि नदिया बिहारी गौर हरि मायापुर चंद्रा गौर हरि पतित पावन गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग जय गौर हरि निताय गौरांग निताय Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura 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 Hari, Gaura 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 Hari, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद जुबेंगे भक्ति वेदांत संशोपाद की जाए। जैवों विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद जुबेंगे श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाए। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नवाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। व्रज भूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगमय यमुनमय की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Prabhupada ki jai. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidram Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे पद की जाए। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 2, titled Divinity and Divine Service, verse number 17. Important verses discussing 16 to 23 is very, very important verses. Chant, repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. 1.2.17. If you have Srimad Bhagavata in front of you, you should use it and open it. Srunvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Radhiyantasto Hyabadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam. Srunvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Radhiyantasto Hyabadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam. 1.2.17. Srunvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Hyabadrani Vidunoti Surutsatam. Word to word translation. Srunvatam, those who have developed the urge to hear the message of Swakata, his own words, Krishna, the personality of Godhead, Punya, virtues, Sravana, hearing, Kirtanaha, chanting, Hridayantastha, within one's heart, he certainly, Abhadrani, desire to enjoy, matter, Vidunoti, cleanses, Suhrut, benefactor. Satam, of the truthful. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Please repeat. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So we'll try to understand this verse, very important verse. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं देवतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। श्री प्रभु गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त की जय। थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग। लेट मी म्यूट 1 minute. Oops. Okay. Okay. So today's verse, there are 9 stages of bhakti, process of bhakti. Even yesterday's class also we were discussing in Bhagavad Gita. 9 stages of bhakti is sadhakanam ayam premno pradurbhavet krama. So there is step-by-step process, starting with adav shraddha, tata sadhu sango, tata bhajana kriya, तथा अनर्थ निवृत्ति स्यात्, तथा निष्ठा, तथा रुचि, तथा आसक्ति, तथा प्रेम, तथा आसक्ति, तथा भाव, तथा प्रेम अभ्युदंचति. In this way, one can gradually, step by step, can go from one stage to another stage. So 6 questions asked by Sonaka and other rishis, as only in Naimisharanya, to Sota Goswami. What is the ultimate good for the people in general? What is the essence of all the scriptures? Why did Krishna appear in the womb of Mother Devaki and Vasudev? And narrate the pastimes of the Lord, Lila Avtaras, and then also Guna Avtaras. Then why did Krishna left? When Krishna left the planet, where did all the religion take in shelter of? These are the 6 questions. In response, briefly those questions are answered in this chapter and next chapter, 2nd and 3rd. This chapter is very important, divinity and divine service. So gradually it is being explained in this chapter about establishing the Bhagavad Dharma, performing Bhakti Yoga process, and how it automatically gives transcendental realization, knowledge and realization of Jnana and Vijnana. It also develops detachment naturally, internal detachment. So in this way, gradually it is giving, and then with one who understands this process, then he will, with one pointed attention, he will always chant, hear, worship, remember the Lord. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavad bhakti yogata srota vyastakit dheyas pujyas nichada. So that then now, after explaining that, then now the actual process of that, these steps are being described, laid out here. And then before that also it is mentioned, one must take the sword of bhakti, sword of the devotion. By the devotion process, cut the knots in the heart. There are so many knots, thousands of knots, that is explained in the previous verse. So now the actual process has been explained. It's the last week's class we discussed about the Adav Shraddha. That also includes, because where it is mentioned, Susrushor Siddhadhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mihat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevana. Our faith, when we have faith, when our initial sinful activities has been removed, first layer of sinful, then we come to approach Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So that's when we have a little bit faith to come to this process. Otherwise, it is not possible to come. Everybody and anybody cannot come to this process. Krishna himself is telling. So then naturally, then they will start associating with devotees. When the faith gets increased by the association of the advanced devotees, sadhus and sages. That's why it is mentioned. Then gradually the taste for hearing, they will be more favorable to Krishna consciousness increases by their association, by hearing from them. So that's why it is mentioned in the previous one. Susroso Siddhadhanasya. Shraddha means faith. Strong initial faith may not be very strong, but some faith is there. Shraddha so Vasudeva Kataruchi. Only way to develop Vasudeva Kataruchi. Syam Mahatsevaya Vipra. Mahatseva means Mahatmas who are dedicated their life in propagating the holy name, not these political Mahatmas, politicians. No, these Mahatmas are completely dedicated their life. Mahatmanastu Mahampartha Daivim Prakritam. They are taking fully shelter of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, not anybody else. So and also undeviated, uninterrupted. Those are the two qualities. Actual Mahatma means to identify Mahatma. Those are the two qualities we have to look. Now, so the Adho Sriddha Tata Sadhusam, the association of devotees also has been explained in the previous step. By that, natural affinity for hearing will come. Now, the Bhajana kriya has been described in this verse. So, Srunatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Pradayantastohi Abhadrani Viduno Suhrutsatam. This is in parallel to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 6th Ashtakam. He has been describing this also in the verse of Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Sakti Tatrarpita Nimita Smaranena Kala Etadrasi Tava Krupa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrasi Ihajani Na Anuraga. So that Abhadrani is explained here. We will come to that. Abhadrani has impediments, offenses, and Abhadrani specifically in Prabhupada in one of the places calls out as 4 regulative principles. When we perform Bhajana kriya, that is taking shelter or surrender to a bona fide spiritual master, so that is Bhajana kriya. So that time, so there is a injunction to follow 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. Very basic things, but it's very difficult because of our previous association and previous entanglements we are bringing from previous lifetimes. So that's why we need this. So then, because faith has been increased and by serving and by association of sadhus, then we developed a little more taste. Then we want to surrender now. So that's when that's why this process is explained. First thing is Prabhupada. First of all, let's understand the purport. In the purport, Prabhupada explains a few things in 4 different sections. And the important points Prabhupada is making. First thing is Srunotam Swakata. Swakata means there is no difference between the Lord's holy name and Lord's words. Whatever Lord speaks, whatever Lord's form, Lord's name, Lord's words, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself is speaking. There is no difference. It is transcendental. So where in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining that Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddho Nityamukto Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. There is no difference between my holy name, that's why it is called Nama Prabhu. Holy name is Nama Prabhu. There is no difference between the holy name and the Supreme Lord. What he speaks, and Supreme Lord also. So there is, and more power is given, more power is invested in this holy name specifically. So that's why it more stress is given here. Sranatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana. So by gradually, so that's why Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport first thing clearly. But there is no difference between the Lord's name, Lord's words, And then is also mentioning by offenseless chanting and hearing, then we can go back to Godhead. We can clear all the anarthas by offenseless chanting and hearing. And then Prabhupada is also mentioning about the and there is no fixed time, place, circumstance for especially chanting the holy name. For worshipping the deity, there are so many rules and regulations we have to follow. For everything else, there is rules, but for chanting the holy name, there is no rule. You can chant in the bathroom. That doesn't mean we take a chanting bag and go inside the bathroom. No, that we are not supposed to take. But we can chant on the tongue. We can chant on the fingers. So, however, but for that there is no need. One time, one of the small boy comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and tells, "Why are you not chanting? You are in the bathroom. You are doing the natural calls. You should chant. There is no bar, no restriction, no time, place, circumstance. There is nothing like that." And so that's why even wearing the neck beads is also all right, as long as the living entity is thinking to get to the next level, perfection, follow the process. Then he can wear, even if he is not able to follow four regulative principles. At least he wants to improve, he wants to come out of that stage. Then with that thinking, then he can wear neck beads, because everybody has to start somewhere. Otherwise, people may think, oh, I'm not able to follow these principles. Then can I wear? Can I do chanting? Can I wear neck beads? No, you can. We can obviously wear. There is no, because this process is very simple and it is given to everyone, especially in Kali Yuga. As mentioned, Kirata, Hunandra, Pulinda, Pukkasa, Bir, Samba, Yavana, what is it? Edupashraya, Yannecha Papa, Edupashraya, Suddhanti Prabha Vishnave Nama. By simply taking the shelter of the holy name of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, so many, these 9 places are mentioned: Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pukkasa, Yavana, Gavira. So 9 different places, different Turkey, Greece, China, Philippines, Mongolia. So many places, all these different places where different types of sinful activities, all lowest of mankind. So many types of people are there. Even anybody from any of the whole world can take up this process, and then they can be liberated by simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. So that's how it is powerful. So that's why here Prabhupada is mentioning that point first. No fixed time, place, circumstance. Anybody can chant at any time. And then Prabhupada is mentioning about the Lord's reciprocation. One who is eager, one who is greedy, then Lord is ready to reciprocate. He is there in the heart. He is watching when we are going to turn towards Him. So he is talking about the reciprocation. Ye yatamam prapadyam sthitam sthitayo vaja. To the degree we want to understand, we want to come close to Krishna, then accordingly Krishna is reciprocating. He is arranging, adjusting things, everything, the health, job, everything, our situations, what's going on in our life, everything. It is depending on our sincerity and eagerness, the greediness to understand, come close to not having a fear. Many times people will have fear. Oh, if I surrender to a spiritual master, what will happen? Nothing is going to happen. Nobody is telling to renounce anything. No difference. Before chanting, but more we become more serious. That is the only difference. Chanting will continue as is. Before the initiation, also 16 round chanting we will do. For then after that also there is no. More mercy will come, because when the seed of the bhakti is sown by the spiritual master, then actual mercy, the layers of sinful activity is taken already at the time of initiation. On top of it, more we are sincere and following his instructions, and then through his mercy we will be able to, on his strength, strength of the spiritual master and parampara, we will be able to do with a fixed consciousness, much more vigor, much more sincerity, attention. So paying attention to detail. This verse is especially talking about abhadrani, means paying attention to the details. Very careful. We'll become very careful, because we are more serious. So that's why Krishna Prabhupada is mentioning about the reciprocation aspect. Then he's also talking about that is the greediness. We must also desire, firmly desire, because God is anxious, but we have to desire. And then the third thing Prabhupada is mentioning, third section, in order for us to enter into the spiritual world, we have to come out, we have to be 100% pure. Sinful activity, that's why this abhadrani is used. So by So those 100% pure. Then what are these sins? What are these sinful activity? Prabhupada is explaining it is called product of desire to enjoy two things, woman and wealth. These are the two things. And then we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting that. One devotee asked, I think Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, someone asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a Vaishnava? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly gives two lines. What is it? I forget what is it. Vaishnava Achar, yeah. असत्संग त्यागी वैष्णव आचार एक भक्त आर एक स्त्री संगी एक भक्त आर या असत्संग त्याग वैष्णव आचार Vaishnava means he is giving up his intimate association with the materialistic people, especially those who are attached to woman and wealth. Wealth in the sense, wealth in utilizing for their own enjoyment. There is no end. There is so whatever, if he has even $1,000,000, he is not satisfied. He is going on with this. So and he is not using it for Krishna's service. So with that intimate association, we cannot avoid when we are working in job and when we are in the outside, when we are go shopping, we have to associate with, but intimate association. Because that's what has happened. Because of our intimate association with the people, different types of people, then we have accrued many different activities like the by the association of Sekuni. What has happened to Dhritarashtra, especially Duryodhana? Completely his mind, everything already is agitated by the wealth and popularity and fame and pratishta. Then more completely whatever teeny bit of pious credit, everything is gone. And then this woman and wealth we see in pastimes of Damodar Lila also, Nala Kuvara and Manigriva. What did they do? They are sons of Kuvera. Wealth, what kind of wealth? Kuvera is the treasurer. So obviously sons of treasurer, what will they do? So and today in material world also we see that. Those are rich people, most of the time their kids, they don't, because they are puffed up with the wealth, and then they cannot take up the process. That's why it is actually disqualification for bhakti, because that when we are too much puffed up, we don't even have a proper understanding of transcendental knowledge or what is our goal of human life, then they will not take up. They don't even have any qualification. Janmaiswara Sruta Srivir Yedamanam Madapam Naivarhapam. Naivarham means no qualification. Akinchana Gochara, unless when they only by the association of pure devotee, by chance, by the mercy, then they may be able to realize it. Otherwise, it is impossible task for those who are puffed up with it. So that's a Nalakuvara Mani Griva. Because of sons, they are too much intoxicated by the wealth, and they don't even know that Narada Muni and other sages are walking by, Narada Muni especially. All the ladies were covered, they are enjoying sporting in the water, and they covered their bodies, but Nalakuvar and Manigriva didn't even cover. So they are shameless. Then obviously Narada Muni cursed them to become, to appear, to be born in the courtyard of Nanda and Yashoda. Obviously, sages curse always has both sides, positive and negative. They have to take that birth, but at the same time they will also give benediction. So that's what happened with Nalakuvar and Manigriva. They appeared as trees, because that's what, when those who are acting in a certain way, who doesn't want to properly follow even the basic etiquette, then they will become trees. They have to stand for many days, years, months. Redwood shore, these trees. That's what has happened because of their past karma. That's what they have to take. Those who they offer the goat or different animals in the sacrifice, because in the previous life that same the human being has killed some animal. So in this life, then that animal has taken human form, and that human is killing that animal. So in this way, everything is a chain reaction. Everything is clearly mentioned in the Shastra. What will happen when we do certain activities? Prabhupada mentioned to one, I think Gauridas Pandit Prabhu was sharing Prabhupada memories. So Prabhupada, while walking on the Juhu beach, then they are surfing on the beach, on the ocean. And he told, so in the next life they will become dolphins. On the some of these fishes. So because then naturally you will be, because you like to enjoy in that mode, then obviously you will get to the same quality in the next life. So this is what, depending on what kind of desire we have, accordingly we will Krishna reciprocate naturally. Karmana daivanetrena jantor deho upapati. So that's why woman and wealth, as per intimate association, and that is mainly been given. Then Prabhupada is talking about, don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap. Material energy, external energy is very difficult. So that's why it's also mentioned, those who are practitioners, they must read from Bhagavad Gita from beginning. They must read Srimad Bhagavatam from the beginning, not jump directly into it, because you must understand how this external energy is acting. What is actually excellent, what is Prakriti, what is our position, what is Jiva, what is Isra. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is very foundational. Even Bhagavatam also doesn't give so much high level ecstatic symptoms, bhava, the high level details of bhakti. Gradually it brings us to the that highest level at the 9th and 10th cantos as we progress on. So that's why we shouldn't jump. We should read from the beginning so that naturally we will progress. So don't fall trap. So tightly clasp onto the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master and supreme Lord. Two instructions are given. Then the fourth section, Prabhupada is talking about, we have to recover from this faulty association, and then by especially by hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord. That's why Srunatam Swakata is very important. So recover from the faulty association means, just like the when we go to hospital many times we see, especially in COVID, many of our devotees are many sometimes parents also, they are in the they admit in the hospital. So as Prabhupada is talking about, many times he sees there are those who are in the hospital beds. When sometimes friends and relatives go and ask them, "How are you doing today?" They said, "Well, I'm doing well today." So that means what are you? What do you mean by well? What do you mean by happy? Well, doing well today. So even though he's sitting in the hospital, nurse and others are helping him to do many things, but still he is thinking he is happy. So in the same way, our condition is also like that. We don't know what is actually real happiness means. What is it? Asat gruhat, sada samudvigna diyad asat gruhat. Prahlad Maharaj is saying. So we are constantly happiness, distress, the way like the ocean waves are going up and down. So same way this happiness, distress keep on coming. Sada samudvigna diyam, always lamenting, fearful. This is going on in our life. Sada, always, not just one day thing. It's everyday thing. But thinking we are happy. I'm okay. I'm all right. So this thing is, so this, what kind of condition is that? We are not realizing actual happiness means coming to the permanent happiness, not temporary happiness. So that's what Prabhupada is talking about here. Come out of that, recover from that kind of faulty condition. Understand, detect that is our current problem, and to go to the then understand what we are supposed to do. So that is what is been given. There, Prabhupada giving example of the quoting that Bhagavad Gita verse. One who is intelligent, manishina, karmajam buddhi yuktahi, phalam tyaktva manishina. One who is intelligent mind, one who is thoughtful, manishina, then you will automatically, you will not expect or attach to the results. Phalam tyaktva, he will give up results to Krishna. You will not accept. Like in the beginning days, Brahmananda Prabhu, when he joined, first time itself he met Prabhupada and he told, I'm going to start tomorrow. I got training for those who are materially, or those kids who are on the lower east side. They are not in a healthy state. They are poor and everything. I forget the word used. Not retarded exactly, but they need special supervision, special training, special education. So he has been trained in that Brahman, but then he met Prabhupada. But I like to be your student. I don't want to do that, but I like to be your student, your disciple. I want to learn about this. So what should I do? Then Prabhupada explained about the whole same aspect. Karmajam buddhi yukta, palam taktva manisha, janma bandha vinurmuktam padam gacchante anamayam. So this amaya means sinful activity, anamaya means going to the Vaikuntha, where there is no anxiety, where there is no sinful activity. So automatically will come out of this bondage of reaction, pious and impious. We'll come to that. So this abhadrani means what? This boy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking Durdaivam, Idrasi Ihajani Nanuraga. Those two aspects, Durdaivam, Na Anuraga. Why is he mentioning? What are those qualities? What we have to remove? We'll come to that in a few minutes. So, where this specific verse here, so Brahmananda Prabhu, then when he told Prabhupada, Prabhupada explained about the whole aspect of Bhagavad Gita just in a very quick summary about how the karma works, how our duties must, our results must be offered to Krishna. So no problem. You can do this. You can be a student. You can learn the process of bhakti. But at the same time, you should also work, because that's what Krishna told to Arjuna. Krishna told to Arjuna to fight. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara dacha mayarpita manobuddhir mamya vaisasam. Remember me. At the same time, you fight. Offer your results to me. Then nothing will bother you. You will come to me without a doubt. So then Brahma Prabhu used to go to work. He used to offer those results, whatever salary he used to get, to Prabhupada. In this way, he was engaged. Much later on, he came out of the job. So a few other devotees also like that. So at the time when there is a need, then Prabhupada engaged them in this way. So offering the results to Krishna. So they got purified. It became Nishkama Karma, Bhagavad Arpita Nishkama Karma. Especially in pure devotees association, offering it to pure devotee, they will always engage every fraction of it. Prabhupada also gives one example. One time I think in Vrindavan, when he was sick, when he is about to leave the body, 1977, he told somebody to get ear drops. His eye is getting mucus. Then he told how much you spent. 4 rupees. It only cost 1 rupee. Why did you spend? You don't know what is the value of money. This is Krishna's money. So why did you waste? He chastised like anything. Then Prabhupada also told, one who wastes, whatever donation we receive, one who wastes, even as Grihastha also, whatever receive, if you don't use it properly, that is also offense. Especially when we receive donation, when we don't utilize properly, then that's also an offense. So Prabhupada explaining, one who drops, like prasadam is dropped somewhere, when it doesn't pick up and they don't have a value, they don't have any proper understanding, then that is also an offense, sinful activity. By not honoring prasad properly, leaving the prasad, whether it's cooked or uncooked, once it comes into the plate, every bit of it, in every single grain, that's how Prabhupada is to take. So that's why that we have to be very cautious in devotion service. So we don't understand everything, what is offense, what is not offense. So when we hear from Prabhupada, then we know how to be careful. So at home or at temple, so we have to be very cautious, not waste a single thing as much as possible. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but at least we should give it to birds or some animals or something. So as much or homeless, whatever is possible, we shouldn't waste a single thing. So that's what here, Janma Karma, Vinurmuktai, Padam Gachanti Anamaya. So that's why it is very important to perform in this way, offering results to Krishna without attached to. So just like that way, Sravanam and Kirtanam is very important. That's what is stressed here. Srunotam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtan. Chanting and hearing. Bhajana kriya means chanting and hearing. Increase chanting and hearing. Initial chanting and hearing may not be so, we may not have faith, actual, we may not have taste. But once we take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master, our chanting and hearing as a next level. It has a better taste than before. That doesn't mean we will be fully developing ecstatic symptoms or we have a taste, but better than before initiation. So depending on how serious we take, then accordingly we quickly, rapidly become firm consciousness, firm faith. That is Nishta. Out of Anartha Nivritti and come to Nishta, but it takes time. But it is better than the before stage, the Adha Tata Savasanga. Yes, specifically in this verse it is talking about Bhajana kriya. It is like a washer. If you use your washing machine to dry our clothes, to wash the clothes, so we have to, machine is like a body and the soul is there inside. You have to cleanse. The soul is currently contaminated, identifying with the body. So soul must be purified. Not only taking externally, body must be purified 3 times. We take bath, supposed to, but main thing is to taking transcendental knowledge. We have to take bath in with Gita, transcendental knowledge, or Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, any transcendental subject matter by hearing and chanting the holy name, and also Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, like that. So when we wash the clothes every day, we wash regularly. We are supposed to wash. In here, US, they don't wash regularly. Once a week they may take bath, or once a week they may wash clothes. No, but in India, every day, especially sannyasis, Prabhupada, he used to, they wash. Even chanting bag, they wash every day. So every cloth, once it is worn, immediately goes for washing. That's how it is. So that much clean, because cleanliness must be there. Impurities, the thought process, the mind will not be stable otherwise. So that's just like a washing machine. You put a liquid, that's like watering the root, chanting and hearing must be there. So if you don't put liquid, what washing machine do? It cannot clean. So same way, so it takes time to wash. Same way, so our hearing and chanting will go on. It has to go on every day. So satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata. That fixed up determination, not that once a day I will do, once a week, once a month, or maybe a few hours I will do. So it is mentioned to remove our sinful activity. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is commenting in Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the verse, to remove our offenses to the chanting of the holy name. There are 10 offenses which is there in holy name. Well, chanting, especially the first one is to those offending those who are dedicated their life and propagating the holy name of the Lord, distributing, offending those devotees, blaspheming those Vaishnavas devotees. That is the biggest first offense. Later on, thinking Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of Lord Vishnu. That is second. Third one is offending to bona fide spiritual. Because of the first offense, second offense, then automatically we come to third offense. So these three are very important. Later on, others also there. But here it is mentioned we have to chant more, increase rounds of chanting. Chanting must go on. So that will come to that. But here specifically, you mentioned, what is that? Yeah. So that two things must happen: the constant chanting of the holy name with humility, and then service without reservation. Constant chanting of the holy name and service without reservation. When will we do service without reservation? Only when we don't have pratishtha, puja, respect, expecting respect, then we will be able to do that. Otherwise, we cannot do. Without reservation means any service comes, so we are ready to do. Doesn't matter who is giving, junior is giving, senior is giving, what type of service it is. We don't look at circumstances, what it is, and all. We are ready to accept. That is service without any reservations. That means we are very much eager to perform service. That's what we are asking while chanting. So constantly chanting, increased chanting, not 16 rounds only, but whenever possible. That's why we should all have a clicker, metal clicker, or the computer, whatever, the small one we get on the finger. Other than our regular chanting, we should count, because that's how 6 Goswamis used to do. That's how Prabhupada used to do. Even not only 16 rounds, much more. When Prabhupada, other than translation, other times Prabhupada used to use chanting bag and beads and used to chant. But for us, we may be going to work, we may be doing different things. It may not be possible to always chant on the beads. Then we can use our clicker, we can use to count and calculate and keep the track. How much time we are spending thinking of Krishna chanting. That's a what is that? Verse 6 Goswamis, how they used to calculate Sankhya Purvaka Gana Natabihi Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Srijiva Gopalako. So that's why the chanting, counting of the chanting is very important, because that tells us how our days and weeks, months are going by. What is our consciousness? Where we are lacking? How is it getting affected? When we observe and plan introspection, reflection, then we will know what's happening with our life. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So the first important point from this verse is so constant chanting to remove the offenses, because right now we are offensive chanting. Then we come to the Namabhas, means with it is not, means we are not, we know the offenses, but we are trying to chant the holy name of the Lord, but unknowingly we may commit mistakes. So that's the Namabhas. It's not fully pure. Then the finally is the Suddhanam, pure name. So that is a constant chanting of the holy name, but service without reservation helps. That's what Narottam Das Thakur also mentioned. Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas Janme Janme Ei Mora Vilas. So constant service. Especially the another point is serving the orders of the spiritual master, bona fide acharya, and serve with other devotees. Yeah, other devotees. These two things are very important. Serving the orders of the spiritual master and serving the devotees always should be there in the front line. Then automatically our taste for the holy name also increase. And with this humility and Dhradavrata. So then now coming to the Abhadrani, what are the impediments? Those impediments are explained as the anarthas, other than the four regulated principle. One is coming from the karma. Even though we are performing bhakti, but still there are regular activities, pious and impious. So the anarthas coming from the pious, because both will be creating bondage. So pious credits are impious, ordinary. When it is akarma, then there is no pious, impious concept. But when it is ordinary work, when we are performing activity, just any regular activity, as per the scripture, we might be giving charity, we might be feeding poor people or whatever, all those regular helping others, these are all pious and but when we do those same activity with the thinking that this I am doing for pleasure of Krishna, I am doing it for a spiritual master. So in that always Sarvam Sri Krishna always in our each and every, then it is not pious or impious. Otherwise it is pious and impious is always there. That is also anartha. That is also will cause different anarthas. That is also for chanting. So that is mentioned. The second one is coming from bhakti itself, while performing bhakti, especially the fame, the fortune, because bhakti automatically also gives, as it is mentioned, the six qualities of bhakti, six characteristics. We discussed Kleshagni, Subhada, Sandrananda, Visheshatma, Sri Krishna, Akarshani, Sudurlabha, Moksha Labhutakrit. So automatically even level. So even the benefits, the fortune, even because when we reciprocate, when we engage, utilize our resources 1%, 2%, 3%, then Krishna is also reciprocating. Krishna is also giving back. So our fortune also will increase. But when that fortune we think we become puffed up, the name, fame, good qualities develop. But when we become attached, oh, I became a great devotee, or I am good in this, I am good in that, then that is also cause of this attachment with unwanted things. That causes also not to develop, will not be able to develop this durdaivam ihajani na anuraga. I don't have any taste, even though all the energies are invested in this, in your holy name. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying, is telling, indicating us, this is the humility. This is one portion of humility. The next level, next verse is talking about much more next level, at a nishta level. But this is in the previous level. Also, there is humility, certain portion of humility. So that is coming up with this. These offenses must be avoided. Pious and impious regular karma. Then from bhakti, it generates fame, fortune, good qualities. These we shouldn't be attached with any of them. If somebody is criticizing, somebody is praising us, we should be offering, like just like Prabhupada used to offer his glories, whatever somebody is giving it to previous spiritual master. He never took it as his own credits. And then offenses. So the biggest offense, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is talking about the false pride, pratishta. This is the biggest offense. It is there all the way into the next levels of bhakti also. So that is third one is the biggest. It is like a sewage in one's drain. So then it is mentioned, what is that? Understanding the how to counteract that is Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning understanding favorable and unfavorable. What is favorable to coming to Krishna? What is unfavorable to coming to Krishna? During day to day, week to week, month to month, we have to observe carefully. Then only we know what is causing it to coming close, what is causing taking us away from Krishna, what kind of activities, what kind of association, what kind of things are making us going away, taking us away from Krishna, not remembering Krishna. So that we have to observe carefully. And the second one is gratitude to spiritual master and acharyas and Supreme Lord. This must be there every day in our prayers. Gratitude for everything what they give. And then acknowledgement of one's condition. That is also very much. Many times we try to, somebody says, hey, why did you do this? Or why somebody criticize, then we try to react and try to correct, try to say that, no, I didn't do anything wrong. This is not my mistake. We try to correct ourselves. Rather, we have to correct, we have to acknowledge that what we have done, mistake is mistake. So, and see how we can not do the same, continue that same kind of attitude. So that must be, that's why anybody is correcting, we should take it as a positive note, especially from our senior devotees, authority, anyone like that, even anybody, even our parents or elders or others, anything which is good is coming, we should take it in a positive note, even though we may not like to hear, we may not like to do certain things, but still, if it is helping us to come close to Krishna, we should take it as positive and then help to move to the right direction. Then we discussed about the by more chanting, chanting in humility and attitude of service to the Lord. Especially this is very important. Also, attitude. What kind of attitude? We may do service. We may be going to temple or we may do service to the devotees. But with what attitude we are going to do? So that means we have to be a menial servant. Humble and meekness is very important. Being a menial servant, thinking that I am just a servant of devotees, servant of the spiritual master. I am doing just to please. In that sense, we have to do, not looking at external circumstances, who is who, what is their position, what is their qualification. Without looking at, we should try to serve with our best capacity, and so as much as possible. We should try to take opportunity each and every time to serve the devotees and the Lord. That's why these things are given in the previous previous years. Nowadays it's gone. That culture is, when we go to temple, we must take flower, fruit. So even at home also, even if you don't have pictures, when you have Bhagavad Gita, you can offer flower, you can offer arati to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. You don't need to have a separate pictures. You can offer tulsi to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna, is the form of the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord. Lotus feet is the first canto, lotus face of the Lord is 10th canto. So we can offer tulsi to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Flower also we can offer. So worshipping in that is the attitude we need to have. So try to serve the Lord, serve the devotees whenever we get time. Now COVID, it's a little difficult, but we should look for the opportunities. Festivals coming, maybe remotely also we can do whatever we can do. So we have to look for these possibilities. The attitude is there, then automatically Krishna gives that revelation within the heart. Otherwise, because first of all, our mode itself, we are not inclined to do, then how Krishna can reciprocate? Because it is our free will. First, we have to turn towards Him, then He can reciprocate. Without turning towards Him, then we are interested in all other things, then Krishna cannot do anything. So that's why we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Glories of the Holy Name also is mentioned out of the Navavida Bhakti, where it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhajanera Madhya Sreshta Navavida Bhakti, then Krishna Prema Krishna Dite Dare Mahasakti, yeah. So which gives Navavida Bhakti is great, which automatically attains, brings Krishna, gives Krishna. It has a potency, it has energy, it has a power to give Krishna by simply executing Navavida Bhakti, starting from Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vishnu, Achanam, Mandaram, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atman. These are the 9 stages No, 9 processes of bhakti, Navavida bhakti. But out of that, Tara Madhya Sarva Sreshta Nirantara Nama Lailo Nam Sankirtan. Yeah, Tara Madhya Sarva Sreshta Nama Sankirtan Niraparada Nama Lailo Paya Premadam. So by simply chanting the holy name of the Lord, out of these 9 processes, Sravanam and Kirtanam, especially chanting the holy name and hearing the holy name is the topmost thing which can deliver us and attain Krishna Prema. Further, Jiva Goswami is mentioning about that is the humility and meekness, and is quoting Rupa Goswami's Namastaka. This verse can be used when before our chanting begins, like we are using Samsara Dava prayers and what is that, the Cheto Darpanam 6 Ashtakam. We can also use this beautiful verse of Rupa Goswami's Namastaka, first verse number 1. I think there are more verses, but this verse is very prominent. How it is compared with the jewels. It is like when we are touching also, it makes very much sense. We are touching, that's why it is mentioned, we are not supposed to juggle these beads or very fastly move these beads, because these are the feet, toenails of the feet. So here it is compared here, Hari Nama Prabhu, actual personality, and we are touching the feet, touching the toenails, lotus feet of that the Lord, non-different. So obviously 108, the queens of the principal gopis of the Supreme Lord. That is also there, different meanings. But here in this way, Namastaka is mentioned, Nikila Sruti Mauli Ratnamala Dhyuti Nirajita Pada Pankajanta. Pada Pankajanta means these toenails, the lotus feet, toenails of the lotus feet of the this Nama Prabhu. Touching, especially it is compared as Shruti. This is a Vedic scriptures. Vedas are glorifying how like a jewels. This holy name is like a jewel, stringed jewels, Ratnamala, Shruti Maul, Dhyuti Virajita. So it is glowing like effulgence, glowing of these toenails touching and chanting this, especially the holy name is compared. Ayi Mukta Kulair Upasyamanam, who is chanting these glories. Nardamani Upasyamanam means one who is Upasana, worshipping, who is worshipping the Lord's holy name. This Nama Prabhu, touching the lotus feet, touching these beads, Tulsi beads every day. Who is Nardamani and Sukadeva Goswami, example. Ayi Mukta Kulair Upasyamanam, Paritastvam Harinama Samsrayam. Automatically I'm taking shelter of that holy name, the personality of the holy name, who has taken shelter by these great personalities like Narada Muni and Sukadeva Goswami, by simply touching these beads, touching the lotus feet, toenails of the lotus feet of this personality of the holy name. It's like jewels attaining the ultimately shelter of the Supreme Lord, going back to Godhead. So this is the Namastaka, verse number 1, glories. And also, yeah, few other verses are there. Also in the 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 18, verse number 10, it is mentioned, Ya Kata Bhagavata Kataniya Vuru Karmana Gunakarma Ashtraya Pumbi Samsayatata Bubhushita, where it is mentioned, desiring the perfection in life must submissively hear all topics. If you want to desire perfection in our life, you must hear all the topics of the Supreme Lord, His glories. Especially it is mentioned here, the Katha Bhagavata means the pastimes, the holy name, and Leelas, qualities. Kataniya, Uruk Karmana. Uru Karmana means great transcendental pastimes, extraordinary pastimes. Guna Karma is qualities, is pastimes, Ashraya. By taking shelter of that personality, Pumbi, the living entity, then Samsayata, Bubhushita, by simply thinking, desiring to perfect in life, then he must submissively hear all these topics. And how it should be heard? Systematically hearing pushes one towards the eternal life. 1:18:10. This verse is specifically talked about. Then Sukadeva Goswami is asked, Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami, This is like ordinary sound. How do you, what is the difference? The ordinary sound also is there, but then why does it make, by simply chanting, how can we attain eternal life? Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is speaking about, yes, we are not seeing one who is intelligent, buddhi, is comparing with Mahat Tattva. In this buddhi is used, and where Vishwanath Chakravarti, that the Krishna, I have created the ether and sound, this transcendental vibration, the sound and ether, that is actually giving the transcendental knowledge. The holy name is there coming from the ether. That's why I created. But those who are materialistic, they want to enjoy, they want to use the ears, they want to use the sound vibration, they want to use all these karmendriyas, jnanendriyas for their own enjoyment. But rather, one who is intelligent, buddhi, then he knows, he will use it for transcendental knowledge. He will, to attain actually perfection of his life, to attain Krishna Prema, he will use. So this is there is that's why two reflections are there. Those who are materialistic, then think everything is material. Even the sound, even the Lord's form is material. When he appears, they see it as external energy. Just like we are covered, Lord is also covered. But they don't see. But those who are devotees who are coming to this path, then they know that Lord is coming, appearing with his internal energy. So he is not bounded at any time. Whenever he appears, doesn't matter whether he's taking a fish or boar or what form he's taking. Everything is transcendental. So is also another verse is mentioned. Krishna Nama Maha Mantra Yehi to Swabhav Yehi Japa Tare Krishna Upajaya Bhav. As soon as this is the swabhav, this is the characteristics of the holy name. As soon as somebody chants, even one time chants, he will attain liberation, he will attain Vaikuntha. This chanting is pure, Suddhanam. So one time, even Nam Abhas also gives liberation. So, but we have to come to that. Nam Abhas will not come unless we take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. Then only when we will come from offensive to this next stage. Unknowingly we may commit, but at least we will not knowingly commit offenses. Nam Abhas, that is next. Then coming to the Suddhanam is the pure holy name. Then we also we hear many of pastime, the glories of the chanting of the holy name is there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one time he was speaking to, he went to a place where he was taking bath in Ganga. Then he saw one place, washerman. This is in I think Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's speaking to washerman. Then he asked, say Haribol. Then he says, no, we don't have time because he's washing the clothes. He doesn't want to give up his time because he has to finish his work. Then he couple of times Mahaprabhu asked, he doesn't want to chant, he doesn't want to say, because he is thinking I have to pay something. Because if somebody is asking something to do, then he may have to pay something. He has to pay, return something, give something. Then he said, no, I don't have anything to give. I am so poor. So let me finish my job. I don't want. So I don't want to chant. He refused. Then Mahaprabhu told, no, you give me that beating the cloth, I will do that. Then you chant Haribol. Then he was happy because at least he's going to do. Then he chanted Haribol twice, thrice. Then as soon as he started saying Haribol times, then immediately by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the holy name, he came to the ecstatic symptoms. This is the association of Supreme Lord himself directly. And then he gave up his beating and then he dancing and jumping up and down, fully in ecstatic symptoms and ecstasy. Then his wife came and saw what's happening. Then he told all the neighbors also, he told, my husband looks like a ghost has taken him, entered into his body and he's acting crazily. So then they also came and saw. Then they also heard Mahaprabhu told to chant the Haribol. Then they also came in this way. The washermen and the others got delivered by the holy name of the Lord. It is also mentioned in Ajamila's case. Beautiful thing. This I learned it today only. Ajamila's wife, one time Lomasa Rishi, Lomasa Muni, sage Lomasa, whose every year one hair falls. throughout his life, every year one hair. Then one time he had too much, his hair falling, itching sensation was there. Then he asked another sage, what should I do? Too much itching sensation is there. How to resolve? Then he told, you go and take remnants of a most sinful person who you can see surrounding. Then he goes to this place, especially Ajamila's place. Then his wife is there, Ajamila is not there. Then he asked, then if she was ready to cook nicely and offer, then he asked, no, I want the remnants of your husband. Then she gives, why is he asking? He's such a sinful person. Why is he asking the remnants of my husband? Then she hesitantly she gave. Then he took it. Then automatically, as soon as he took it, he took the remnants. He passed. He came out. Then immediately his itching sensation gone. Then the sage Lomasa wanted to return something, give something because his itching sensation gone. Then immediately went back to Ajamila's wife and he told, what is your son's name? What do you call? Then she was trying to give some material names. Then immediately sage told, no, you call now onwards, you call Narayana is your son's name. Smallest out of all the sons. I think he had 8 or 9 sons, I think. 8 of them, 8 kids, I think, or 9. So then that's how by Lomasa, the sage Lomasa's power, by the association, by that holy name, then automatically Ajamila's wife told, when Ajamila returned back to his home, then she told what has happened. Then from that day onwards, because he was very much attached to his wife anyway, then whatever she was telling him, he was ready to do by stealing and killing and whatnot, somehow they're getting money. So obviously when she told, then from that time onwards he started calling his son Narayana. So finally at the end we know that by simply attachment to his child, then he was calling Narayana when the Yamadutas came to snatch his soul. Then immediately he remembered Lord Narayana because he has performed previously pious credits, especially Bhakti, Mukha Sukriti, worshipping Lord Narayana Shila, serving his father in worshipping of the Lord. So that helped him to remember, even though he was indirectly Nama Bas, he was indirectly thinking. That's why it is not offensive. It is a clearing stage. Offensive stage means we are doing knowingly committing mistakes. So, like on the strength of the holy name, then we want to do, okay, I can perform this simple activity because holy name will remove, then I will perform. So that is offense, one of the 10 offenses. So, but Nam Abbas here, Ajamila chanted, called Narayana his son's name. He didn't wanted to think, he is not thinking Lord, but he is just thinking indirectly his son. But since his son's name was Lord Narayan, by giving this name by this Lomasa sage, then he started calling him. Then by simply calling 2 times, then immediately he could remember the Lord Narayan himself. Then Yamadutas couldn't take his soul. So these are the glories of the holy name. There are many other pastimes of the glories of the holy name. I'm trying to remember. Glories of the holy name. A few other pastimes are also there. Yeah, one time the Akbar and Birbal also, in that case also, they both, one time they went to a distant place, especially in a forest. They both went to get something. And then they were very much hungry. So then Akbar is the king, Birbal is his assistant, his minister. Then Birbal told, Akbar told, I am very hungry, let's go and get some food. Let's try to find a house or something nearby to get some food in this forest. Then Birbal told, no, I don't want to come, you can go. I am dependent. He was chanting Lord Rama's name. He was attached to the holy name of Lord Ram. Then he was chanting. Then Akbar, Birbal didn't listen. Akbar went, finally found a house. Then he asked for food. Then they gave so many varieties. Then he ate and he also brought food for Birbal. Then he told, see, you have to do some effort. You have to put some effort. Things are not going to come without putting efforts. I told you, you didn't listen. See, so I got the food. So I brought for you also. Then Birbal told, see, by simply, see, you have put effort, so many things, so much, you took so much endeavor. But here, by simply chanting Lord Rama's name, by sitting here, you are the king, I am the servant. But see, the king went to beg the food from somebody, and they brought it. See, by simply chanting Lord Rama's name, I got my food without even doing anything. And you, as a king, I'm supposed to serve you, but rather you went begging and you brought the things. See, this is the power of the holy name. So in this way, so there are many other pastimes like this, glories of the holy name. We just need to have a faith, strong faith, especially in the association of devotees. We must hear. So these two things, as I mentioned clearly, continuous chanting and more chanting, increased chanting and service without reservation, and then with humility and Dhrudhavrata, fixed up determination, then automatically, gradually, it automatically removes these impediments, this Durdaivam and Na Anuraga, because of these impediments coming from our karma, regular pious, impious, and coming from fame and fortune and pratishtha, false pride, which is the biggest thing. So we have to detect what is causing, what is favorable, what is unfavorable, that is happening in our life. We have to see gratitude we should have, and then acknowledgement of our condition, and then they detect and then remove those unwanted things, whatever is happening, offenses. So various offenses can happen, not only offending the holy name, offenses to the prasadam, offenses to the deities, offenses to the devotees. So all these nama pra, seva pra, dhama pra, all these we have to be very careful. So that's what here there is one more verse. And we see also this hearing is very important. Even though it doesn't matter whether he is coming from lower birth, whether he is not extraordinary qualification he may not have, but still in Ramanujacharya's case also, Ramanujacharya was by the time he went, he wanted to take initiation from what's his name, Alabandaru. I forget what's his name. The second name is Alabandar, but actual original name I forget. I'm trying to remember. So then, by the time he went, he left the body. He left already. He went back to Godhead. So then he couldn't get. Then his disciple Tiruranga was there in Srirangam, then Kanchipuram, in Varadaraja's place. Then, but he is not so much qualified. But because on his guru's order, nobody else is there to take care of ashram. Then he was taking care. But after 1 year passed, then they all remember, they understood, because I'm not able to preach like my spiritual master, like Alabandaru. Then what should we do? There's another great devotee. So because his spiritual master tells them, so you call Ramanuja. So you initiate him and then bring him. He is qualified, most qualified to take up this preaching. Then they all decided, yes, that is a good approach. Then who is qualified to initiate him? Then they found Mahapurna. They found Mahapurna, and then but Mahapurna was not ready to give initiation. Even before that, also there is another devotee. I think who is that Kanchipurna. Then and so Ramanuja Acharya want to take initiation from Kanchipurna, but he was saying, he was praying to the Lord, what are you doing, Lord? I don't want to give it. I'm not qualified to give initiation to Ramanujacharya. Where are you doing this? You want to take remnants, you want to wash the feet and take the remnants of that water, everything, but he is a Kanchipunna, didn't want to do that. Then later on, anyway, so then in a dream, Lord told Mahapurna also that Ramanujacharya will come and initiate him. Then Lord also told in a dream to Ramanujacharya that you should go and meet immediately to Mahapurna and take initiation. Then he goes, and then even though Mahapurna may not be qualified compared to Ramanujacharya, but because he was very much sincere, he was ready to surrender, to follow the spiritual master footsteps. Then previous Acharya footsteps. Then immediately, by the mercy of the Lord, so he could go and meet. But he has so much determination. Then Mahaparna told, okay, let's go to your place, Kanchipuram, in front of the Lord Varadaraj, who is the one who has told you to come here, take initiation from me. I'll give you. I'm not qualified, but since you are telling Lord has told you, then I'll give. His wife is also there. Before that, also some other pastimes were there. Ramanujacharya had a wife, but she was, that is later, after initiation. So then Ramanujacharya came to meet at the some place. This is in a different place. I forget the place name. Madurantakam. I think Madurantakam is the place where Mahapurna was there. Then Ramanujacharya came there to meet, and then he told, no, let's go to Kanchipuram in front of Varadaraj. I will give initiation. Then he told, no. I don't want to wait not even a second. Please give me initiation right now, because never know. Time doesn't stop for anything. So who knows what's going to happen? My same thing has happened when I want to meet and take initiation from Alabandaru. He left. By the time I came, he left. So the same thing can happen. So I don't want to wait. I don't want to take any chance. This is the firm determination is there in Ramanujacharya, and simply following the instructions of the association and instructions from the Lord, from Kanchipurna and others. Then Ramanujacharya came to Mahapurna, and then finally Mahapurna initiated right there. So that was his name. The later on, then he was given sannyas. He himself took sannyas by the orders of the Supreme Lord Ramanujacharya. Then his name became Itiraj Ramanujacharya. There are many other pastimes are there. But so the glories of the holy name, glories of the Supreme Lord, the power of the association of the pure devotee of the Lord, doesn't matter. Sometimes they may not be qualified, but in this case, one time even though Mahapurna is the one who gave initiation, but Mahapurna started worshipping, like even though he was the spiritual master Ramanujacharya, but Mahapurna was worshipping Ramanujacharya as his guru. Then all his disciples are, what's happening here? This is not a proper etiquette. But then Mahapurna told what he is seeing, what he is seeing from the Lord's divine vision, that he is as good as qualified as his spiritual master Alabandaru. Ramanujacharya is not ordinary, so that's why I am worshipping as my guru. Even though I have given initiation, it is like a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiating. What is the name? Sannyas initiation. Keshav Bharati Maharaj has given initiation to sannyas, initiation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Lord himself, he has given the mantra. He initiated first of all in his ear, Keshav Bharati. Then Keshav Bharati gave that same mantra back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in that way, same way, you can see even though Ramanujacharya is more qualified, but in this case, by following the Vaishnava etiquette, so but Ramanujacharya didn't think that is the senior or is more qualified than. So this is association of devotees, and Ramanujacharya always tried to serve his devotees, even to serve his disciples. One time we went to one of his disciples, so poor. When he went, his husband was not there, his disciple was not there, but the wife was there. She didn't have she couldn't come out. He knocked the door, she didn't come out. Then then he understood, or she may not have proper. He gave his dress also, and then finally came out, and then immediately saw his guru, spiritual master came. Then she didn't have anything. Then she went to a grocer who was always want to entice her. She want to enjoy company with her. But then this time she asked, okay, I'm ready to associate with you, but I need ghee and rice and all those things right now, immediately. Then he gave immediately, so that then she went and cooked all the nice preparation and served his spiritual master. Then he was happy, spiritual master was happy. Then at the night, when his husband came back, then he understood what has happened. Then he told, yes, then since you have told that grocer that you will associate with him, then go back and do that, but take prasadam, take the Mahaprasadam and go on. So by this time he has heard, the grocer heard what has happened, the whole incident. how she is so much chaste. Then by hearing that, then immediately that no, I am ready to no, I don't want do anything. So you can, I am ready to give anything and everything whenever you want things in this way. By the association of Ramanujacharya, even Ramanuja trying to serve, give his association, understanding his disciples poor, but he has so much in devotion. So in this way, it is not about the spiritual master. The Prabhupada also told him sometimes, even one disciple become a pure devotee, then my mission, I feel successful. So Prabhupada also sometimes in a humble state, Prabhupada also told like that. So they are all my spiritual masters in that way. Also sometimes he told. So it is not, we shouldn't be looking upon as junior, senior, or their external qualifications, who is who, but rather we should be serving, always trying to serve devotees without any external thought process. We should simply serve. So that will help us to go to the next level, to increase our actual original, come back to original Krishna consciousness, develop our actual real love for Krishna and his devotees. Because everybody, whoever is trying to serve the Lord, coming close to the Lord, they're all devotees. So in that way, we can become perfect our life. Any questions? So many other pastimes are there on the glories of the holy name. But any questions from Google Meet?
Yeah, Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes,
Yeah, so um, when Prabhupada, you said that you have to be 100% pure to go back, but
yeah.
then I hear lectures.
Here, that is mentioned here in the in this purports. We should be on, yes, that is the in general. But by the word, by the Acharya's word, if anybody has given assurance, just like Narada Muni might have given assurance, Sukadeva Goswami might have given assurance, then by the strength of the word of a bona fide spiritual master, pure devotee, then things can happen. One time Prabhupada asked, all the devotees were there, then if you become 80%, 90% pure, then you will go back to Godhead. Prabhupada told. Then devotees still are very much concerned, still are in anxiety. Then Prabhupada told, like, even 80%, then still they were not convinced. Then it was 70%, and it was 60%. That's it, no more, no less, no less. So that Prabhupada given like that. So by the spiritual, by the strength of the Prabhupada, but that means we still need to follow strictly, to follow the instruction of Prabhupada. Then even if we become 60% pure, then we can go back to Godhead. But if we don't, we think that oh, I am already 60% pure, then I will go back to Godhead, and then we do whatever we like. Then it's not good. So that we have to consider carefully.
So is this written somewhere, like in any of the Leelas?
Yeah, these pastimes what I described, yes, this is there, and I'll send you the link, share the link. And this pastime also Prabhupada's, it is there in the Prabhupada memories. My spiritual master
Okay.
in the Jayaprakash Swami Maharaj shared this, and few others also I heard in Prabhupada memories. I think this is in Montreal or someplace. Prabhupada has mentioned that 70%, 60% finally coming to perfection. So
Okay.
yeah,
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else?
One question?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranams. Thank you for the very beautiful example.
Hare Krishna.
Offensive. You said
Voice
you
is
are
not clear, ma'am. Some disturbance is there.
Krishna. Prabhuji, Krishna.
Dis- lot of disturbance is there.
Still Prabhuji, then I can type the question, Prabhuji.
Yeah, now it is clear. If you want,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranams, Prabhuji. My question is, you were mentioning, again, I think, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, go ahead. I think you send the text. I think that might be the better. Post it
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Meantime, also I'll mention about the one time I think I heard this past time also from my spiritual master also, or Prabhupada mentioned, shared this. One person, or my spiritual master, I don't remember exactly. One person was one person who's on the deathbed. His whole family, I think my spiritual master, all his family members except the husband, all his family members, relatives, everybody became disciples except him. He has been told many times through many different people, but he never wanted to take up chanting. He never wanted to follow the process. Then finally, when he was on the deathbed, when he is in the hospital, so one time he saw the Yamadutas. They just appeared and then left. They didn't actually take. So then he got so much bewildered and fearful. Then immediately bring Bhagavad, bring that chanting beats, and then immediately take taken up very seriously. So this is sometimes the difficulties. Sometimes these situations make us understand what is the seriousness and sincerity, what is the actual goal of human life. So we may take it very lightly, we may not have faith, but by circumstances, by the association of the devotees, sometimes we will be. The same story is there in these pastimes of the glories of the holy name, where one of the old man is about to die. Then he also, by hearing by somehow or the other, mentioned desire, yeah, he heard, he saw the devotees chanting on the streets and everything, but he didn't want, he was not ready. But then at the time of death, he said, let me try, I want to give it a try. Anyway, now I'm to die, I want to give it a try. Then he asked servant, bring the chanting bag, go and buy these beads in the market and then bring me. So by the time he was waiting, he already passed away, he was dead. Then, Yamadutas and Vishnu, both of them came. Then Yamadutas told, this person is so simple, why did you come? He didn't perform any pious creed. Because then they told, because he has desired to chant, at the end of last breath, he has desired to chant the holy name of the Lord. Because of that desire, then he has been qualified to enter into the spiritual world in this way. So like this, many pastimes are. Let's see what is the question. Explain more about the offenses means unknowingly doing mistake or knowingly doing mistake. So the first one is offenses means just like that while chanting there are 10 offenses. When on the strength of the holy name we may think Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma or demigods to be independent of Lord Vishnu. All these 10 offenses we read. That is the offensive stage. Nam aprad, seva aprad, dam aprad. That is the offensive stage. Then we go to the clearing stage, Nama Bhas. Like we're chanting, even though we are not attracted to the chanting, we may be chanting, or just like the Muslims chanting Haram, Haram. He is not chanting actually, they are not chanting holy name, but they are indirectly chanting. Like Ajamila was chanting his son's name. He was not actually wanted to chant, but he's indirectly. This is called Nam Abbas. So he was not directly thinking to chant, was indirectly, even in that way also. So he was chanting. So this is the next stage. Offenseless. He is not doing any offenses. He's just simply calling his Lord's name, his child name, Lord Narayan. By that, automatically he came to the next purified. But that's why he didn't go back to Godhead immediately. So Vishnu Dutas came, still he was not 100% pure. He just gave them the time. Then he got little purification by seeing them, by understanding the seriousness, what kind of simply he performed because of his past credits, and also calling Narayan at the end of it. Then he went to Haridwar. Then after 6 months or more, then then he went back to Godhead Ajamil. So there are different stages. Nama Aprad, Nama Bas, and Suddhanam. So, yeah, offenseless. Finally, we have to become offenseless. That means no offense should be there. So, offenseless chanting. Suddhanam, we have to come to Suddhanam. But it takes time. Especially Ananda Nivurti is the stage. When we come to that 75%, then we come to the Nishta. Ananda Nivurti 75% when we clear. Then we come to the Nishta stage. Nishta means form fixed up. Krishna explained Druda Vrata, fixed up consciousness. Then we don't have any other deviations. We have clear schedule, time, second by second, minute by minute. So we have form schedule, we have form planning, what we are supposed to do, what we are not supposed to do. So everything we have a clear plan in our life, in our activities, in our associate, everything. So that is the actual form consciousness. And that's why there is a. We'll discuss in the next class. We'll discuss on these offenses. That's why I didn't want to discuss too much, because next class next is talking about Ananda Nivrutin. There we will discuss more. In this specific, it is only Bhajana kriya, the glories of the holy name, glories of the chanting and hearing, especially by the association of this bona fide spiritual master. That is, otherwise we might be chanting also, we might be reading Bhagavad Gita for many years, but without before spiritual master getting initiated from spiritual master, then after that, then we start understanding Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I read this, but before I didn't understand this way. It's the same way chanting also has a different level of power by the mercy of, because Harinama Diksha it is called. Giving is that example, all that pastime is also there. One time this disciple asked Guru, this mantra I see Dove chanting, cleaning lady chanting, everybody chanting. The Hare Krishna mantra, what kind of mantra you have given me? Everybody chanting, what is the difference? But you are saying this mantra is the most confidential mantra. This is it gives the highest perfection. How is it so? I cannot understand. Then Guru told, okay, I am giving a jewel. Take this jewel and give it to Dhobi, give it to all these people and see. Then they said, okay, yeah, give me will it help me to clean my clothes? Will it help me? So they all they didn't understand the actual quality of a jewel, actual use of a jewel, value of a jewel. They couldn't understand. Same way, then Guru told, yes, this is the case. They are also chanting, but they didn't understand. They don't have a proper faith. They don't have actual understanding the glories of the holy name. So then they may chant, yes, it will have effect, but it will not actually really perfect their life, because they are simply chanting mechanically, but they are not understanding what is the actual. That's why the gnana is important. Means we have to understand the absolute truth. Either means for us especially, but those, even those who are illiterate, by the spiritual master mercy, by their humble service, by their attachment to the spiritual master, even if they are not knowledgeable, they didn't receive any knowledge, then they can attain. That is the level, the highest level. But we are not in that state. We are not so humble and meek like those that Brahmana in Sri Rangam. You're just simply reading by the order of spiritual master. He went back. He could attain, come to that highest stage. Ecstatic symptoms arose by his mood of surrender. Guru's mercy is there. So Yasya Deve Para Bhakti Rata Deve Tata Guru Tasya Vahi Kata Katita Prakasante Mahatma. Everything was revealed. All the knowledge, the whole perfection of life is revealed in his heart by the spiritual master mercy, because simply he carried the instructions. Even though he is illiterate, he couldn't read, he couldn't actually read language. And here also it is mentioned, this verse, there is no bar, there is no need to understand the meaning of the mantra, the words of the mantra, what meter, what is this, what is that. No. So we don't need to understand. It's good to understand, but even if you don't know, we don't know how to pronounce a language. Sometimes when those are Westerners, they may not chant properly. But the intention, the mood, the consciousness, the attitude, sincerity, eagerness, all these things are there, then they can attain the perfection. So that is the important point we have to understand here specifically. So in this verse, that Bhajana kriya, next verse is talking about Anartha Nivrutti. So there we will discuss about these offenses, how to clear the offense more detail. Anishtita Bhajana kriya, Nishtita Bhajana kriya. So few other things are there. So there we can discuss more details. So because for this verse, that's why I didn't want to go detail in that level. Is that okay, Mataji?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else has questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, one unrelated question. Gandhavika, can you hear it, Prabhu? Should I type it?
Yeah, type it. I will also
Type
say
it.
one more pastime. I forgot. This is also very important. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Yeah, put it in the chat. The question. Gaur Kishore Das Baba is one of the devotee, one of the follower. He approached. Can you give me a mantra to know our Siddha Swarup, our original Swarup, to attain, come to that Swarup, to reveal, to realize our Swarup, our eternal form, our relationship? Then Gaur Kishore Das Baba told, this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra reveals everything, all your original, so you don't need any separate mantra. This is the process. This mantra has everything, all everything in detail. So we just need to, with firm conviction, we have to follow the process and chant. Then automatically it will reveal our original form, eternal form. What kind of service, what kind of rasa, relationship we have with the Supreme Lord, that will be revealed. He also mentioned the particulars of your identity, 11 particulars of our spiritual identity. So in this way, so we can see in this way the glories of the holy name by simply we take it very lightly. Hare Krishna Mahamantra means, that's why sometimes even when Prabhupada was there, many times some of the disciples went to Gaudiya Math and asked about the Siddha Pranali and following, using different, because they also try to induce, you don't need, your guru doesn't give much, he doesn't, they don't give, your guru doesn't give the actual confidential things. I will give, I will give more knowledge than your guru. This way they cheated them. So actually the real bona fide spiritual master doesn't speak like that. So that we have to be very careful. So that's why we have to have a proper faith. Faith is very important on spiritual master. Otherwise nothing will happen. Nothing. Literally, even though we might be qualified, we might be chanting for hundreds of years, but nothing can happen. No transformation. That's why, in any case, whether we see in Ramanujacharya, Madhva, even all the acharyas, by the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master, even though they might be qualified, but by the mercy of spiritual master, automatically they can be qualified to receive them. They can perfect their life very quickly and rapidly. So that's why the spiritual master's mercy is very much needed. Then our faith will increase. The faith must be there on the spiritual master, especially. Then only our imports, the realization, the whole purpose, the power of the holy name will be revealed. The power of the transcendental knowledge, power of the Lord's form, qualities, past, everything will be revealed. Otherwise, there is no possibility. So that's why it is very important. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking about all along about this faith. 9.3 confidential, most confidential knowledge. Ashradha Dana Purusha Dharmasya Asya Paranta Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartamani. If you don't have faith, there is no possibility to understand me. You will take life after life, birth, old age, disease. This will go on. You will enter into cycle of birth, death, old age, disease. This will continue because that the faith is the most important aspect. So we have to believe. We have faith in everything. We enter into bus, we enter into train, we enter into boat, we enter into so many. We enter into different universities, colleges, we enter into job. Everywhere we have faith. But when it comes to the transcendental sound vibration, we don't have faith. We don't have faith in spiritual master. We don't have faith in Supreme Lord. We still are doubtful about why this is so, why that is so. Then Prabhupada gives that example also. The poor person who's stitching the shoes and the person who is Brahmana. Narada Muni walks in and then both of them ask the question what Lord Narayana is doing. Then Narada Muni goes back and asks when I will be liberated. That was the question both of them asked. And then also what Lord Narayana, that was the question. Then when Narada Muni comes back, Brahmana asked, did you meet? Did you ask my question? What is Narayana doing? Then he told, Lord Narayana is taking big elephant through a needle, eye of a needle. Then Brahmana has a question. That means you didn't even meet. He had a big faith question. So he didn't even have a faith that how can that is possible? A big elephant, how can you pass through a needle? But because he is puffed up, his knowledge, his intelligence is being covered by this knowledge. He is thinking, I am Brahmana, I am great, I already have knowledge. How can this is possible? This is we have to be very careful. So that means he doesn't even have a faith on spiritual matter like Narada Muni. He asks the question, but then you need to know that if he asks the question, whatever he tells, then you have to have a proper faith that he is telling right thing. He has met. If you don't have faith, then what is the point of asking? Go and ask Narayan. That is very important. Sometimes people want to jump. Prabhupada also gives one example. Gauridas Pandit, is a Prabhupada disciple, sharing. Prabhupada was reading Ishopanishad, one of the verse. Then he said, how come this word is not written by me, not translated by me? Who changed this verse? Who has changed? Tell them that my English is not proper. Is my English bad? Then he was asking Tamala, no, Prabhupada, your English is correct. This is don't tell them, don't become like a leapfrog, jump over the spiritual master, think that you are qualified, better, you are better in English or qualified. This is not going. This will not help at all. So this is very. We have to be very careful with our consciousness, with our attitude, with our. We should never correct, we should never instruct, we should be very careful not to correct, not to instruct a spiritual master, advanced devotees. We have to be more cautious, especially. So that is a faith, because if faith is lacking, then we cannot attain. So let's see the question. Is there any book about Nityananda Prabhu which describes his tour with the sannyasi? I'll have to look up. I don't remember, but Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, then we have what is it, Govinda Karacha, then we have Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka, then but also we have Acharya's books, Chaitanya Sikshamrita, I think, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, then we have few other Acharyas, I think Baldev Vidyabhushan or some other Acharya has also written, and Chaitanya Mangal is there, but Chaitanya Mangal may not have too many details. But these other books also would be having more details. So yeah, I'll also check if any other books are there. But these are the most authentic, means Chaitanya Charitamrita and then Chaitanya Bhagavat. But wherever he doesn't have proper sequences, then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions. So these details are not properly given. So then we can refer to the other books. So yeah. My spiritual master is compiling this Krishna Chaitanya book right now. We are in the Madhya Ramananda Raya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conversation going on. So they are compiling, putting everything together. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Govinda, his servant, Mahaprabhu's servant's Karacha, even Murari Gupta's Karacha, then Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka, and a few other books. So all these together is compiling into one book, so that everybody, so all the pastimes can be together in one book. So hopefully, so it will finish next year, this year, next year. I think this year may be doubtful because still in the middle. So Adilila is over, I think. So it will take time. So